What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Human Betterment Project. Today, we're going to be talking about mental toughness. David Goggins, Navy SEAL, former world record holder for number of pull-ups in a 24-hour period at 4,030, absolute boss of a distance runner, motivational speaker, and author of Can't Hurt Me. Jocko Willnick, Navy SEAL, author of Extreme Ownership, co-founder of the Echelon Front LLC, a management consulting firm. He's the podcast host of the Jocko Podcast, an absolute jiu-jitsu gorilla, and well known for posting pictures of his watch showing that he's getting up at like 4:30 a.m. every day and gets to work destroying his workouts. Wim Hof, you may not know about this person, but he is a Dutch extreme athlete noted for his ability to withstand freezing temperatures, holding the Guinness World Book of Records for the farthest swim under ice at 800 or 188.6 feet, the fastest half marathon barefoot on ice and snow at 2 hours, 16 minutes, and 34 seconds, and the longest time in direct contact with ice at 1 hour, 53 minutes, and 2 seconds. And he's the author of Becoming the Iceman book. Courtney Dewalter is an extreme ultramarathon runner. In 2017, she won the Moab 240, a 238-mile ultramarathon race in 2 days, 9 hours, and 59 minutes. She beat the second place runner by over 10 hours. She had enough time to go home and sleep a full 8 hours and come back before the second place finisher showed up. So all of these people, and many more like them, they all excel at their crafts. Are these people just the exception? Are they strokes of luck, genetic advantage? Maybe. Maybe to a certain extent, but all of them will talk and tell you that the real battle for excellence is nothing like that. It's all in your head. It's mental toughness. So it's the ability to tell your brain when it is screaming at the top of its lungs to tell you to stop, to give up, that you're not worth it, and to shut up because, you need to tell it to shut up because it's your time now. So David Goggins in his book says that most people are only living at 40% of their capability. And of course, that capability is not the same for everybody else. Your 40% is not the same as somebody else's 40%. But once things start getting uncomfortable and you're at that 40%, our brains basically tell us to stop because the human brain and people in general tend to seek the path of least resistance and seek out comfort. So, the feeling, you're out for a run, you're a mile in or maybe less, and your legs hurt, you're sucking air, you're gasping for it, and your brain's just like, just slow down, just slow down the pace, or just walk, just stop, go home. Why are you doing this? David says that this is where you're at, where when you hit 40%, this is the trick that your mind plays on you to tell you to turn around and seek that path of least resistance and comfort. But he says that you have so much more potential than that, and that you need to be able to tell your brain to take a back seat and stop doubting yourself and push forward. So this kind of scenario can play out in many different ways in your life. Let's say that you are pursuing a new career change or something like that, and you need to study, and you get to a certain point, and you're like, this is too hard. I should just quit. I'm too dumb to know this. I'm not smart enough for this. That's your brain sabotaging you, and you can do this. You're only at 40% of your capability, but you just need to push past that pain and past that doubt, that self-doubt. So Jocko is well known for a clip I believe it's from his podcast. You can look it up online. It's called Good, where he says it's good when you face adversity. It's good that things don't work out how you want to, because those are opportunities to improve or train yourself to never experience that again. Likewise, in his book, David Goggins talks about the callousing of the mind, where you purposely seek out difficult things, small and achievable things, but difficult things, and get used to that being that uncomfortable or that weakness, and build up a callus against that weakness so that you can never be hurt where that weakness is again. At one point during the Moab 240, when Courtney Dewalter was running it, she was hallucinating, like literally hallucinating. I believe she even started like not being able to see. If that's not your brain telling you to stop, thinking it's at your absolute limit, then I don't know what is. But she just kept going. She pushed through that. I mean, she was probably well beyond 40%. She's probably at like 99.9% at that point. But she had to tell her brain that she had more to give, and that kept her legs keep her legs propelling her forward to where she won more than 10 hours ahead of the other person. She was able to quiet that inner voice that's telling her to stop and continue to win. And I guarantee you that Wim Hof's mind is yelling at him at the top of its lung to get out of that ice when he's like doing those like super long ice contact challenges or running a half marathon in the ice and snow. But through training and breath control, he's able to quiet that doubt and that mental sabotage. The mind wants you to quit. Don't. You have way more in you, and I think everybody has way more in them than they think. And most of us are like David Goggins says, we're living at 40%. We are way more capable than we think we are physically, mentally, emotionally, success-wise. I mean, we can give out so much more. We just got to stop that inner devil, that inner mind that's telling us to just hang it up, put up your shoes, kick back, and enjoy the comfort of life. Take the easy way out. So all of these people I've talked about, and many others, whether they're athletes, soldiers, business people, or just everyday people who've succeeded at their goals, they do this, and they're or the everyday person who have succeeded at their goals, they do so by being victorious over their most cunning enemy, their brain, and the brain's self-doubt. I want to share some challenges or rules that come from David Goggins' book on how to achieve this mental toughness that can help us achieve our goals. So he has 10 rules, and I'm just going to go over them real quick here. 1, get a journal, write down everything about the bad hand you've been dealt in life in detail, and then write down the present day factors that are limiting your growth and success, and be honest. He's brutally honest in his book about how the bad hand that was given to him go through childhood and through life, and what his limiting factors were, and it's a self-reflection so that you know what you need to target. Number 2, the accountability mirror. Write down your insecurities, dreams, and goals on Post-it notes on a mirror. Lay it all out on the table, he says, so you have accountability and goals for self-improvement. So you are accountable to yourself. That's where the idea of this mirror comes from. He would physically look in a mirror and just be like, his example was when he was like 350 pounds and out of shape, he'd be like, you're fat. And he was really honest with himself about how he felt and was accountable to that. But he had a dream that he wanted to be in special operations in the SEALs, and that I don't even think the Navy would take him for any enlistment, let alone Navy SEALs at that weight. So he had to be very real with himself in the accountability mirror. But also these Post-it notes give you small wins, basically, that you can check off. Once you achieve one goal, one dream, one goal, or overcome some insecurity, you could take that off as a measurable item. So number 3 is callus your mind. Write down in the journal the things that make you make you feel bad, basically. What are your weaknesses? And then take tiny steps based on those to build up a callus against that weakness. Basically, to sum it up, he says, do something that sucks every day, to the point where eventually when those things that suck come up, it's not a big of a deal. You've grown a callus against that thing. And these are going to be different for everybody. Everybody's thing that sucks is different. Maybe going for a running. You hate running. It sucks. You don't like it. You're just going to do a little bit every day. Do something every day that sucks. So you're going to go out and run 200 meters, and then that turns into 400 meters, and eventually you're running a mile. And after a while, maybe it doesn't suck anymore. You've grown the callus. Or maybe it does suck, but you don't care because you've grown the callus to that. Number 4 is what he refers to as taking souls. Basically, this is the idea of working so hard that you basically remove all doubt from other people on who you are and what you can achieve. You want to leave them with their like mouths open in awe, basically. Make them watch you achieve what they can never have done for themselves because they don't have the mental grit for that. It just basically it's a way to demoralize people that are maybe bullying you or that job that's not appreciating you. You will rise to a level to where they're just in awe of what you've done, and you have therefore grown so much confidence that maybe you don't need that job anymore. Maybe those bullies are going to leave you alone now. I mean, because what more could they do to you? Like, you've already overcome them. So it's an interesting concept. 5, visualize your own personal success and the steps needed to achieve that success, as well as any challenges that might come up during the process. You should be as prepared as you possibly can be. So you have steps written down to an ultimate goal, and these should be concrete, achievable, measurable goals. And this is a lot of like people that talk about habit making or goal planning talk about this. It has to be small, achievable, and trackable. But those can build on each other. So step 1 might be something small. Step 2 would build on that. Step 3 will build on that, and so on. So you can actually build to something greater, like that, whatever your big like personal goal is, or whatever that thing you want to achieve is, through these small achievable goals. So 6, he refers to this as keeping a cookie jar. No, it's not actually a cookie, unfortunately. But basically write down in your journal your accomplishments and successes that you have achieved in the past. And keep a log as new successes and achievements happen, so that when you're in need of motivation, when you feel like you're not making any progress or not making any headway on a difficult task, you can pull out one of these memories, one of these cookies out of the jar that shows that you have been successful in the past, and that could give you motivation for pushing through that slump, or motivation for creating a new cookie that you could put into the memory pot there. A great example, like I'll just say like losing weight or something like that. Maybe you've lost a ton of weight. Let's say you've lost like 50 pounds or something like that, and you only have like 10 more pounds to lose before your goal weight. And you're just struggling to lose like 1 more pound. Just that 1 more pound just won't come. It's been weeks and weeks and weeks. Well, you could pull the cookie jar out, pull the cookie out of the jar of achievements and go, look, I've already lost 50 pounds. I can do this 1 pound. And that's what this is getting at. It's a way to use your past wins and past achievements to kind of push you and keep you motivated for future goals and future wins. 7, push past your normal stopping point. Like I said earlier, David Goggins says that most people are only using 40% of what they're capable of, or only living at 40%. You should always try and push a little harder when your brain's telling you to stop that run or give up on this particular goal. No, just keep going a little bit more. Then your 40% was going to become, you went to 42% of your real capacity, and then the next time you might go up to 44%, and you're just going to keep pushing that envelope to so you could really live at 100% of what you're capable of. 8, everyone is human. To accomplish great things, you need to schedule. Life gets crazy, and it's hard to accomplish things if you don't have some sort of structure. So David gives an example here. It's a pretty quick example in the book on what you can do in your journal that he talks about. Basically, in week 1, he wants you to write down what your current schedule is. Week 2, you create an optimal schedule that's broken down into like 15 or 30-minute increments. And we've talked about that before on the show, when I've talked about this self-journal here, where it's broken up into like 15 or 30-minute increments. And we also talked about it when I had Ross Merker on the show talking about his +1 good method, of having dedicated scheduled time in 15 to 30-minute increments. whether or not, even if that 15 or 30 minutes is, this is relaxing time, or this is when I'm going to bed, just planned time. So you'll do that and you'll create an optimal schedule. Week 3, by then you should know what works best for you and how to maximize your effort. So then you should be able to really come up with, you had your current schedule and your optimal schedule. Your optimal schedule might not be realistic, but by week 3 you should be able to know what is realistic and come up with a realistically optimal schedule. So and it should be a schedule that maximizes your effort. 9, stay in constant pursuit. So create new goals and new conquests so that you're always pushing that envelope, always pushing that 40%, or pushing towards success or betterment. In the case, we on here we talk about the Human Betterment Project. So let's say that your goal is, I want to run a 5K, like without stopping. So a 5K is about 3.1 miles, and there's most like fun runs that you see, like the what is the one, like the color run. I think that's a national one, where they spray the like colorful like stuff out, and your shirt gets all stained and stuff, different colors at different distances and stuff. So like the 5K runs, that might be your goal. So I want to run a 5K, but without stopping, and at a decent pace. So once you complete that, you shouldn't just stop there and go, well, I did it, I'm done, I never have to do that again. Instead, you should go, okay, well, what's my next goal? Maybe it's to run another 5K even faster. Maybe like shave 3 minutes off of your time, or maybe it's, I'm going to run a 5K once a month, or maybe you start going for distance and it's like, I'm going to run a 10K. And then maybe once you hit the 10K and you succeeded in that, then you're like, I'm going to run a half marathon. After the half marathon, your next goal is like, I'm going to run a full marathon. So you're constantly pushing, and like what I'm saying here might seem like big things. I'm talking about marathons and stuff, but these could be really small things too. You could be like, today my goal is, if you're like a person who is sick or unable to do things in a certain way, maybe your goal is, I'm going to get up at a certain time today and I'm going to make my bed. And that's your only goal for that day. That's your pursuit of success. And then once you're good at that, you can be like, okay, well, now I'm going to get up at the set time, I'm going to make my bed, and then I'll clean my room, or I'll tidy up my room. And then once you have that, you move on to something else, but you're doing very, very, what most people would consider are small conquests, but for you might be huge conquests. So it's not all about physical, accomplishments or anything like that. It could be small wins that for you mean a lot. So, and then you just build on those, and you'll eventually get to what what your 100% is, or you're pushing past your 40% capacity that's telling you, no, don't go any further than this. You're pushing past that and making progress. So you can have huge improvement by just accomplishing those small wins. 10, think about your failures. Journal and write down your failures and how you handled them. Then based on that list, you should make another list of the things you can fix, and then schedule attempts to meet those goals. So and put them on your accountability mirror, he says. So this is just a way to really look at your failures, how you dealt with them, and based on that, you can come up with a list of ways to fix those. Maybe fix the failures, or maybe even fix the way that you handled those failures or handled those difficulties. Because sometimes failures aren't your fault. Maybe there's an outside stimulus that did that, but maybe the way you handled it wasn't well. And now you can kind of like look back at that and be like, I didn't handle this very well. This is how I should have done it. And now you have an achievable goal on what to do when that happens. And when it comes down to this sort of idea of scheduling, like he talked about scheduling and all this journaling and stuff. it goes back to another concept that I believe comes from Jocko Willnick, where discipline equals freedom. A lot of people think about discipline, and not just of the scheduling kind, but of the motivational kind, or something like that. They think of that as like a hardship that they're putting on themselves, and it's like, oh, I can't have any fun doing that. I can't, there's no spontaneity. There's no, there's no fun. But the idea is that if you can discipline yourself to, stay within certain schedules, or and do certain tasks and achieve those other things, that frees up the other times that you have for like total freedom. Basically, it's like you don't have to worry about any of that stuff because you did it already. So now in the window of time you have that's free, you really do have total freedom to do whatever you want because you've already taken care of all the other prerequisites and things you had to do before that. And I also wanted to point out that there was something else that David Goggins said that I thought was interesting, and a lot of people might not realize, is that motivation is temporary, but discipline it can be permanent. So motivation is that thing that people get on New Year's Eve, where they make their New Year's resolutions and say they're gonna, lose 50 pounds in the next 3 months or something like that, and then a week later it's cold and rainy outside and they don't want to go running, or they don't want to go to the gym. They're tired. They didn't go to bed early enough or whatever. That motivation's gone now for most people. But discipline, which goes back to also what Jocko said, discipline tells you, no, it doesn't matter if I'm motivated or not. I have to do this. I'm going to do this. And so that's a way to look at the difference between discipline and motivation, or accountability and motivation. Motivation is a very transitory, temporary thing that is at its height at New Year's Eve, basically. So these are David's steps to building mental toughness, and I just wanted to go over them because I think that if we can achieve this mental toughness, that it can really help us achieve our goals and our dreams and succeed in what we want to do in life, whether it's something physical, whether it's something business related, emotionally, mentally, whatever it is. I think that building this mental toughness can make us better people. And just because you're mentally tough doesn't mean you're like a calloused person, towards others. It's mental toughness towards yourself, and in a way, it is, you're doing the best for you. You're bettering yourself so that you can be a more responsive like person to other people, and you could really meet those goals and that you're searching for. And you're not going to be tossed by the tides of life, which can be very difficult. It can really toss you around and stuff. But if you have this mental toughness and this discipline, then you can make it through that storm of life and still succeed to great degrees. Hopefully, I hope that everybody is successful. There's this other concept, and I'm gonna kind of butcher it here a little bit. Because it's not actually meant to be used this way, but I've heard it used this way a few times. But there's this concept that I think is from Nassim Taleb's book Antifragile. Originally, the term antifragile has to do with the markets or economics, basically. It's an anti-fragile market is one that is not destroyed by outside circumstances or difficulties. Instead, it gets stronger. It's anti-fragile. There's a difference, he says, between fragile. Obviously, it's going to fall apart when difficulty happens, and then there's resilient. Resilient will get through those difficulties, but it will not grow at all. But anti-fragile not only gets through those difficulties, but it'll grow from those difficulties, learn, and get better. And I think that we can apply this to this idea of mental toughness as well, and we ourselves can become anti-fragile, because you don't want to just collapse when things get difficult. You don't want to just get through them and not grow from them. But when those things happen, the most ideal circumstance we can think of is if you're anti-fragile and you learn from those difficulties and the storm of life, and you can grow from them and become a better person, or become a more successful person, a more loving person, a more understanding person, a more mentally tough person. You can do that through these mental toughness steps, I believe. So I just want to share this with everybody, because I think that we could all really benefit from being more mentally tough. The world is very difficult at times, and I think that it would be best if we can be anti-fragile and grow and have mental toughness during those times, and really blossom from them into more successful, better people. And I thought I would share David Goggins' tips on that, and kind of point out a few particular examples of people who I thought were really inspiring as far as their mental toughness, and go through David's 10 challenges or rules. And I really hope that you all like this, and please like and subscribe below and hit the notification bell. Apparently people aren't getting notifications. Please hit the bell below, and then I think you're supposed to be getting notifications then when new videos drop. So like and subscribe so I can keep bringing you more videos like this, and I can continue to grow the channel. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye.